Hello everyone, it's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel, tap the notification bell, I'd appreciate it majorly. Very quickly, I just saw that they arrested somebody in connection to the murder of Susie Zhao, the professional poker player who was found, her body was found burnt after having been killed in Michigan, outside of Detroit. I think it's White Lake Township. It was the Pontiac Lake recreation area where she was discovered. She was found by, I think, two guys on their way home or on their way to work in the morning. She was found at 8 in the morning, July 13th, and she was last seen July 12th around 5:20 by a mother. They've arrested somebody who they have not identified, a 60-year-old man, and they described him as a Pontiac man, which means I assume means he's from the area, because, which at least gives you some indication of, a potential reason for her murder, and I don't know. I mean, it almost seems like it's maybe just a random abduction by somebody, that maybe a rape or something like that. I don't know for sure, but the fact that the person is from the area, because she had moved back home where she grew up there, in White Lake Township. I don't know if her parents are in the same home that she grew up in, but she grew up outside of Detroit, which is where White Lake Township is located, and had moved back home after, according to some of her personal friends. I think a person she lived with was a former roommate of hers, and also a professional poker player himself, said she was basically could no longer afford to live in LA. I guess could no longer afford rent, and moved back home to just deal with some personal issues, and I think that same professional poker player that was a friend of hers and a former roommate said she moved home to deal with some personal issues. So police weren't sure if her death was as a result of her gambling lifestyle, and if somebody had basically followed her back home because she owed somebody money, or because she just crossed the wrong person, or if it was somebody that she had just met in her traveling lifestyle, because she did move around. If you look at some of her social media, besides, it was reported that she regularly played between in LA and Las Vegas. I think it was a bicycle casino is one of the main places she regularly played at, as well as Las Vegas. But she traveled and participated in tournaments in, I saw one in Johannesburg, and that's from years ago. I think it was 2015 or something like that. There's something on her Twitter feed, and she was traveling there, to play poker, but I think she just traveled all over the world as part of her career as a professional poker player. So they weren't sure if she had just met somebody along in those travels that followed her back to Michigan and was responsible for her death, or if it was just some random person. I mean, that's what it seems like. Some of her movements, and right before she died, I think she had visited Saginaw City, or the Saginaw area, which is not far from there, and I have no idea what she was. I think she was just visiting a friend, or wasn't said why she visited there. And she had recently returned from there. That's only like I don't even know, 100 or so miles from where Pontiac Lake is, White Lake Township is. It's a little bit north of Flint, I believe. But she had recently returned from there, right before she was killed. It was also, I saw in a report that, she frequently hitchhiked, that she just did that, as a part of her sort of free spirit lifestyle, that she did do that quite a bit. And actually her vehicle was recently impounded because of whatever, unpaid parking tickets or something like that. So maybe she was hitchhiking and just got in the wrong vehicle with the wrong person, and this person just picked her up randomly. The 60-year-old man, who again was described as a Pontiac man. So he's from the area, and whether he's a stranger or known to her, we don't know yet. But they did. They didn't just obviously happen upon this person. He was arrested Friday morning at 9 in the morning, and this is after they had gotten a search warrant for him. So they basically had a warrant to search, I assume, his vehicle, because that's, once they located him in his vehicle, they executed the search warrant and took the person into custody, who, to the best of my knowledge, hasn't even been charged yet. He's just been taken into custody. I'm sure he's being questioned. I don't know if they're preparing charges or what, but he hasn't been identified. And I looked several places, Twitter and so forth. And this is, he was taken into custody yesterday at 8 in the morning. So we're, nearly 2 days into it since he was taken into custody, and there's still no word on the identity. Nobody even floating potential persons on Twitter, or even talking about it in comments on recent tweets about his arrest, the 60-year-old Pontiac man. So it remains completely unknown. And we'll see if it's somebody known to her or somebody random. It was reported that they do know that she was killed before she was burned. So the individual is likely did that to conceal evidence, maybe conceal evidence of rape, possibly, and that she was killed in the Pontiac Lake recreation area and then moved to the dirt parking lot where she was set on fire. Why the person did that, God only knows. Because basically 2 guys in their car essentially located her while they were on their work at 8 in the morning on the 13th. And I believe it was at Mackaday Road and Crossroads, Mackaday Lake Road and Crossroads in the Pontiac Lake recreation area where they located her. So, but they do believe she was killed first, and they haven't released the cause of death, how she was killed, in what manner, and then burnt afterwards, after the fact, I guess, conceal it. And somehow they do believe they have an approximate time of when she went missing, even though she was last seen at 5:20 on the 12th by her mother. Somehow they believe she was killed after 11:45 p.m. that same day, the 12th, between 11:45 p.m. and the time that she was discovered at 8 in the morning the next day on the 13th. I don't know how they know that, if that's from phone records or what, but that was reported as well. A 60-year-old Pontiac man in custody. I'm sure we'll be learning his identity soon, but right now it's just not out there. That's the story there. It's obviously a real shame. She was only 33 years old, and that's the story there. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.